Behold, it is spicy time. And not only because we get spicy here, on Saturday sometimes. I actually had some spicy food today. It was really mild, to be fair, but it was good. I had some spicy chicken tenders. I understand why Americans like them so much. They're pretty good. Not the best thing I ever tried, but pretty good. Pretty positive experience overall. I would have them again. Uh, no sauce though, so maybe I should fix that next time. Maybe a little bit of lemon, maybe a little bit of whatever else. Not mayo, not ketchup, but something. It was good. It was good. But be careful, because we're gonna get more spicy. Mild spice? I mean, if I'm eating, I don't mind it. I'm not the biggest fan of spicy foods. But when we're talking about the stuff, getting spicy, well, you could say that's my preferred flavor. I'm trying to make sure everything is working properly here before I bring up the stuff. We also have some music we can bring up too, as usual. I'm really tired. I don't know what happened, but I am really tired. I've been sleeping more, but it's not enough. Feels like I'm just getting into bed. If you just fall unconscious. I need to catch up on sleep, clearly. Not catch up for my tenders, absolutely not. That's degenerate. Oh, brother. Been doing some grinding my games, which is nice. I think my leveling up grinding in Dragon Quest is pretty much done. I've been getting some classes. Characters are looking pretty good. I still need the Gamba, but that's a different thing. Okay, let me see here. Where's music? Here's music. Ooh, it is a little bit slow. I don't know. I know why. I know why. This memory leaks are driving me completely insane. Nothing is happening. Nothing is really open. Nothing is really going on. But everything has to choke in an insane way. Why must they suffer like this? Mystery gift in Agents Arceus? Really? I didn't know that was a thing. So I had to painstakingly close everything to see if it fixes itself. It usually does, thankfully, but why? Why is everything so annoying with technology nowadays? Don't know why. Can we say it? I don't know, maybe. Maybe we can, maybe we can't. I'm not so sure anymore. There are many things wrong with the world, that's for sure. So let us talk about, shall we? About one of the current things. Oh, let me hide that for a second. We don't need no stinking GPA for this. It's not gaming day today. It's something I could have covered already last week, I think. But I didn't because I thought it would be pretty much a nothing burger. I guess I was wrong. So it's time to talk about the Chud the Builder. I mean, we usually start with content creation stuff, so I think that makes sense. And it's quite different from the usual content creation stuff, but I do think this is really strange. It's from ABC News. Chad the Builder held on 1.25 million USD bonds for shooting outside the courthouse. Whoa! Chicken tenders are fighting back. How could they do this to me? It is my understanding the bond has been reduced to just $1 million. It is still insane. Dalton Etherly, another man sustained gunshot wounds, authorities said. Rage baiting live streamer Dalton Etherly. Rage baiting. I guess he got me saying instead. Not online is Chad the Builder is being held on 1.25 million USD bond after being charged with attempted murder in connection with the shooting outside the Tennessee courthouse. Attempted murder. Remember that because that's gonna be important. Italy 28, another man sustained gunshot wounds during the shooting incident Wednesday is at the Montgomery County Courthouse in Clarksville. According to the Montgomery County Sheriff's Police Office. Police, what the hell? So, Wednesday. So that was last week's Wednesday, the 13th. There was a physical altercation They escalated to gunfire, the sheriff's office said in a statement. I'm gonna be honest, I do believe if this guy didn't pull out the gun, he would probably be dead at this point. I can't believe that. Oh, what the... Jeez, I don't want your stinking videos, man. I don't care about your videos. Don't you see I'm reading? I know you're spying on me, ABC News. Following an investigation into the shooting, Ederle was arrested later that day and charged with attempted murder, as well as employing a firearm during a dangerous felony. Dangerous felony? I had to admit I'm not the most well-versed into this incident, so there are some details here I'm gonna be missing. But I do wonder what they mean by a dangerous felony in this case, because that doesn't seem to be the case. If I'm being honest, everything here is really stinky, really stinks a lot, because they're not releasing the video proof, video evidence that they have. Why would they do that? I don't know. Ask Harry. Aggravated assault and reckless endangerment with a deadly weapon, according to the sheriff's office. During his arraignment. Shouldn't it be arrangement? Ain't that's a different word. This is my first time saying it. And Judge Friday, Judge Reed Paul III. How do you have the third in your name? And you're a judge, dude. How can we believe this? This is really strange. Is this a psyop? Now that the need to protect the public interest and public safety, given the seriousness of the charges and the public location of the shooting, was setting the bond at 1.25 million. I mean, public location, sure, whatever, but isn't that somewhat common? Shootings happening in public spaces anyway. I would say that's usually the case, but maybe I'm wrong. What do I know? Hold up, my neck. It doesn't really crack. I don't know if that's good or bad. I do wonder sometimes. I do wonder if that's good or bad. The prosecutor asked for the bond to be addressed at a later hearing, so the court could review all factors, including a pending case Italy has in Davidson County, and make an informed decision. A pending case? Is this... I saw a clip recently, I don't know if this is the same thing. Apparently the guy who was trying to dang and dash. Hey, that is not cool, okay? Maybe don't do that. Let me see. Davidson County. Davidson County Chat the Builder. Let's see if I can find anything here. That's not what I'm looking for. That's Nashville. Montgomery County. That's Davidson County. Shortly after, so I'm assuming it's Davidson County in Nashville. Ah, American geography, dude. That's kinda crazy. Yeah, I think it's the dang and dashing incident. As arrested charged with theft of services, disorderly conduct, and resisting arrest after causing a disturbance in the Nashville Steakhouse. Hey, maybe don't do that. I'm not sure what happened, but maybe don't do that, okay? Italy's last bond hearing has been scheduled for May 21st, and the preliminary hearing for May 26th. I do believe it was in this 21st bond hearing when they reduced the bond to just 1 million. I mean, it's never still the 26th, so that would be a bit strange, right? Hey, you never know. Time traveling judges, more likely than you think. Andy has made a social media presence by recording and live streaming his racist confrontations with black people, and others while touting his constitutionally protected right to the soul. I mean, you can call the guy racist. I would say the guy is clearly not nice. I don't think the guy is nice. He isn't. To say he's racist, I mean, I'm trying to be careful here with how the world thinks. The guy is not nice. Yes, he is slurs, but I don't think he's just going around slinging these slurs to everybody and anybody. But then again, why would we let truth get in the way of a pretty good narrative after all? I've only seen this guy slinging stuff is in response to actions from other individuals. I could be wrong, I'm not really a connoisseur of this individual either, so make of that what you will. Yeah, let me close this. We don't need it. We need all of the resources possible. Because we have Indian infested technology. Not great. His attorney Jake Fenley said he can't share much about the case with its pending, which is reasonable. That thing in a lengthy statement, he said he wanted to address hateful phone calls and emails close to his firm racers that he said his office has received since being appointed to represent Italy. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen no matter who you are, no matter what you do, because you're not allowed to do your job if it has to do with somebody the public has deemed as not good, somebody that the public has deemed as evil, or somebody that the public has deemed as a reasonable target. Should that be the case? No, but that's politics, and that's everything related to opinions in life, really, in the past, what, 10, maybe more years? It's not great, but that's the world we're living nowadays. Cool. Anyway, he assumes any one of my staff or I are racist because I'm asked to represent someone whose opinions and actions are controversial is simply ridiculous, he said, and he's not wrong. But then again, this is not a good guy either. I'm sorry to tell you this is not a good guy either. Rule for criminal defense attorneys to represent people regardless of their race, religion, ideology, or allegations against them. Yeah, but that's not what the public opinion is. The statement continued. The assuming attorney agrees with the actions of the accused is preposterous. And said he is disappointed by the calls and emails giving my history and dedication to my clients, which includes people of all skin colors. He said he will not back down when chosen to defend a fellow citizen, saying, "It's a right entitled to each one of us with the Constitution." Oh boy, hey, remember that one, because that's not going to last, sadly. And this guy is a true snake, I'm afraid. The Constitution apparently only affects those who you want it to affect. Or it only works how you want it to work. Pretty disgusting stuff here. On a court record, so Italy had a civil death appearance scheduled Wednesday morning at the Montgomery County Courthouse. It's unclear if he attended the hearing. Shouldn't they know? I mean, I think that makes sense, but what do I know? He was involved in confrontation with another man inside the courthouse. His Attorney General Robert Nash. Robert Nash, isn't that the name of a Street Fighter character? Maybe it's not Robert, but I'm pretty sure it's Nash as the last name. Here's the cover from Montgomery County, sending a statement. The confrontation resulted in gunfire, and both men are taken for medical treatment, Nash said, which, I mean, logical. Both men were transported to their hospitals in stable condition, according to the sheriff's office. Authorities have not publicly identified the other men involved in the incident. Nobody died, by the way. Nobody died, sure? Violent altercation, nobody died. Which is an important detail we have to remember when we compare these to other unsavory cases we have seen in recent times. The shooting incident came days after he was arrested in a separate incident in Nashville and charged with theft, disorderly conduct, and resisting arrest, according to the court records. Yeah, the steakhouse thing. I don't know what happened with the steakhouse. Maybe don't take a dash. Maybe that's bad. Maybe that's something not good that's not gonna help you. If you're gonna be spicy like this, you need to be outstanding literally everywhere else. I know not a lot of people are prepared to do so, but you have to do it. It's not for me, it's for you. You need to be careful when you do that. He was arrested over the weekend for allegedly refusing to pay for $371.55 in food and drink from a restaurant and the Omni Hotel where he had been live streaming, according to court records. When restaurant staff asked him to stop live streaming during the incident on Saturday, he became distracted and started making racial statements, yelling, screaming, and otherwise threatening and seeing the location. Maybe don't do that. Maybe don't do that. I don't think they're trying to pull a fast one on you because how do we say this? Some sort of race enmity. They don't want to be bothered by live streaming, and I think that's fair. If David filed in Davidson County Court stated, "On court records on list and an attorney for Italy in that case." I mean, I'm assuming he just paid the amount and that was the end. I'm assuming, I could be wrong. I have no idea. This is the beginning of the story. So of course it's the most boring part. Don't worry, there's more. Chad the builder's attorney speaks out after he received after firm receives faithful calls and emails pertaining to streamer's case. Is it pretty much the same? It might be. I'm not quite sure. Yeah, it's pretty much what he said on the other one. I wasn't not sure if they were going to include everything in the first one. Okay, we can ignore that one then. Chad the builder update. According to witnesses who attended the court yesterday, while advocating for a gag order on Dalton, D. Robert Nash, and it's the same guy, reportedly told the judge that Dalton's abuse of First Amendment privileges is what got us into this mess in the first place. I'm not being American, but this pisses me off. In abuse of First Amendment privileges. The First Amendment, it's not a privilege. Free speech should never be a privilege. That is an insane thing to say. Especially when we're talking about a lawyer. It's a right. It's a freedom. It's not a privilege. Are we sure this guy is not Canadian? Or, God, even worse, are we sure this guy is not European? So it doesn't matter that people get mad at you when you exercise your First Amendment. It's your right to do so as an American citizen. I'm sorry to tell you this. And I've seen the memes. Oh, look at this. But Canada is so much better because they don't allow hate speech. If they don't allow hate speech, they don't have free speech. For there to be free speech, you also have to protect the speech that you don't like. So of course, hate speech has to be allowed. Hate speech, still speech. We can all agree that there may be some exceptions, like people crying fire in a theater, or death threats. That's not just speech, necessarily. You can see that is a way to enact actual physical violence on people, and vulnerate the security and safety of people. There is some wiggle room there, I would say. But for somebody to say something like this, it's just insanity. Especially when it comes from a lawyer that's representing you in this case. Yes, he refers to the First Amendment as a privilege, not a right, before proceeding to blame Dalton's speech for leading to the situation. I'm gonna be real. I'm sick of this. Oh, but this guy is racist. Why is racism nowadays? Seeing it's a way worse crime than killing people for no reason whatsoever. And do you guys remember the Henry Novak thing we read the other day? Yeah, how about that one? Sorry, mate, but you appear to be racist. You're getting handcuffed. Ah, I cannot breathe. I've been stabbed. I don't think you have. Well, good job. The guy got stabbed. Not only in the chest, but several times in the back. Yeah, I don't think this guy was being an insane racist. Did I mention already that he got his phone robbed? Yeah. Yeah, about that. Truly disgusting. Truly disgusting. And sure, once again, this guy is not nice. Do you want to call this guy racist? I mean, sure, whatever. Whatever. He's slinging slurs, sure. But if you think a reasonable response to somebody slinging slurs is just attack them physically, maybe with a bladed weapon or maybe with a firearm, and kill them, I'm sorry. There's no free speech and there's no reasonable society. The West has fallen, I hate to say that. I only consider that mostly a meme though. I mentioned before a similar case when a man got stabbed by a black individual, and in response, this stabbed man said the N-word. But the man was being racist. Yes, after the fact, not before that. What is this? The omnitemporal racism? I just don't understand. It doesn't make any sense to me. And even if you're being completely against this guy, and we see the worst possible reading of this case, and we're like, this guy's an insane racist, he's just going around slinging slurs and attacking people with no provocation. This is still insane. This is still insane, because nobody died, yet he still has to pay a million USD. But if he was a black kid, stabbing somebody in the heart, it would be just 250,000. I don't forget, man. I do not forget. And recently there appeared a new case that's far more insane than this, if true. A man, black man, allegedly abducted and killed a 23-year-old woman and abused her corpse for 8 days. You wanna see the... I don't know if it was a bond or bail. With legalese I get a little lost here. You know the amount he had to pay? 15,000 USD. Wow. Wow, so much for that. It's very clear they're trying to make an example of this man. You cannot be going around exercising your First Amendment, and if you need to protect yourself, you cannot exercise also your Second Amendment. But then we have these details here. Breaking Joshua Fox, aka Joshua Love, military confrontation / fight with Chad the Builder, aka Dalton, Italy, in attempt to gain clout. This proves that Josh had planned to attack him all along. Chad is innocent. This case is over. Slam dunk. Well, that would be if there was actual justice in the world. Share it with this, and to get this to Chad's lawyer / defense team as a ASAP. Here we have from January 10th, by the way. At this point, 2026, I don't give a fuck, he says it. Calls me it, cause fuck him anyway. I mean, ain't gonna lie, I'd be happy to run into the chat motherfucker, but he's on the other side of town. But sad of him and call him a bitch and go on my day. Chad is trolling us for a reaction, don't let him bother you either. I think he's really racist anyway, just clickbait. I don't think she's wrong. I would say it's probably mostly clickbait. I think it's reasonable to be like, yeah, I don't care who calls me anything anyway. It's just a word, okay? It's just a word. Trying to get some traction on my end, so when you start my Twitch, you got a little fan base. I hear about me, I just wanna fight. I just wanna fight. Well, there is, right? There is. My goodness, this is awful. And the court here for child support. You're supposed to be there. For child support? Nothing's wrong. I haven't seen anything like that. So I wonder what the source for that claim is, if any. It could be that the guy's just making shit up. Really strange. If they did, it would appear in the articles, but it didn't. What we saw in the articles was a different incident. And at this point in time, we need to be completely clear. Is it really that wrong to say slurs? Well, it is not nice, that is for sure. But if you think the logic behind the you cannot say slurs if you cannot identify with them narrative, it's just insane. If you're not black, you cannot say the N-word. If you're not gay, you can say the F slur, so on and so forth. This is the only way to destigmatize the words. No, you're quite literally doing the opposite. If only black people can say the N-word, and they just go completely ballistic when anybody else says it, even if it's not in a derogatory way, it may be as a quote, or in some lyrics, you're only giving it more power, because it's now a forbidden power word. Well, I cast power word, stung, because I'm appalled at this current situation. Not quite so much power word kill. I get you killed, which it shouldn't happen. And I understand that people, maybe we have younger people, maybe people don't remember because a lot of things happen nowadays, I suppose, but I do remember back in the day, the early days of YouTube, we had Ray William Johnson just saying the N-word, sure, not hard R or whatever, but still the N-word, on his videos, but he would censor the word fuck. Make of that what you will. Also, just linking the F slur was pretty common back in the day. Oh, how things have changed. How things have changed. Not everything is horrible here, I suppose. There appears to be somebody from the dual gambling website that wants to pay for the 1 million bond. Insane move. Insane move. Now the Republic confirmed that the popular gambling website duel will post in doubting Italy's 1 million bond. They have, or I guess Chad had, a crowdfunding for legal expenses, which I'm gonna say it's reasonable because it's been happening for quite some time with these cases. Like, what was her name again? The one that said the N-word to that kid who was stealing her baby stuff. It's not that uncommon when you get in such an event to crowdfund your legal expenses. But apparently, the judge said, no, this is not allowed. Or, at the very least, no, this is not allowed yet. Which I don't think that's fair, and I don't even know if they can do anything like that. The excuse was, well, they need to check if the money is legal money, if it's licit money, before he can spend it. Like, okay, sure, in a vacuum, I wouldn't care about that, but what about, once again, Carmelo Anthony? I don't think they care about the legality of the money, but he could spend it on legal expenses and secure the teams. What is the difference? What is the difference? Well, I had to admit, this reminds me a little bit of the Alex Jones case. You see, Alex Jones, they don't like Alex Jones, so they're gonna make an example out of the man. So that means he will need to pay the GDP of the country if he wants to be free. He ended up losing InfoWars, but I mean, he just made a different company anyway. So what is the big deal? They want to make an example out of you, and they will use any strat they have just so they can have it. And the easiest way is just to put you in an insane debt. Can you pay it? No, well, we'll get somebody else to pay it. And they can't pay it for you. Well, what are you supposed to do? Eat shit, grovel and die, I suppose. And at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter if this guy pays, if this guy apologizes. He will not, I don't think he will. Because it's not about the actual event. It's about control. It's always about control. It's so annoying. Whoa, 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 what happened there? Yeah, then the mouse choked for a second. That was weird. That was a bit weird. That will tell you nothing is happening, but it is happening and it actually pisses me off a lot. Sure, call the guy racist, call the guy an insane lunatic if you want. But for him to have to pay $1 million USD when nobody even died, it is insane. It is fucking insane. Two-tier system is real. It is not happening only in the UK. And people to wake up. And even if I disagree with many things that this man does, we kind of need this man to win. In a way. We need this man to win in a way, because this should not be allowed. That's his arm. Gunshot wound. That's not too bad. Okay, alright. Okay, alright. That makes sense. Speaking of draining money, draining resources, and economic collapse, and let's talk for a second about Ubisoft, shall we? It's been a while. I do enjoy it, really, when they do shit like this. Yes, the stock is crashing after the company and has massive financial losses worth billions. But I thought the games were good. I thought the games were selling well. I thought they had millions of players. But they ratioed the charts. What happened here? Well, nobody bought the game, I guess. For years, Ubisoft was one of the biggest names in gaming, but recently the company has struggled with expensive game development, delayed releases, cancelled projects, weak game launches. But start trusting Ubisoft. Now, after reporting huge losses, investors are increasingly worried that Ubisoft lost the ability to deliver good games. I mean, have you seen the games? They are not good games. In terms of good games, they have none. I've also seen that apparently they're trying to make or release a remake / remaster of Assassin's Creed Black Flag. How's it worse? Not only it is censored, which of course it is, it happens all the time anyway. You see, the main character stumbling about while being drunk. In the original, in the new one, it's just a wobbly camera. So much for that. How do you mess that up so much? You don't even need to come up with new technology. Just use the technology you already have. What are we even doing? They what they deserve. I'm gonna be real. Also, most of this is self-inflicted. So, yeah, get bent. Just get bent, okay? I don't care. Get bent, you get what you deserve. See, we have so many fresh blood, but not enough old people to teach them. Yeah, you also get new people that are not good enough. I mean, French companies, we read about them before. They are strange. Really strange. Legal! How to say this? Legal happenstances, perhaps. We talk about hiring people in France. Maybe you don't have to hire, or maybe you are... You're not incentivized to hire the best people for the job. Hey, I thought that didn't happen, I thought that was illegal. It is. But then again, some people are more equal than others. I have yelling here, wedding. That'll give. The division, wasn't the division a big flop? It was been great to see the tech advertise company go down in flames. I think most people do, to be fair. It's not the only company that's seeing a little bit of fall of water right now. We have this thing here. Riot is breaking cheating hardware that just have to grant to buy. DMA cards or hardware devices that plug to your PC and touch memory directly. Passing the CPU on Windows. Riot is deleting them, destroying them permanently, posting to X to brag about it. Also, SSDs apparently, which is really strange. But he hates cheaters in their game, but imagine letting Ubisoft or EA to bring your non-cheating PC if you say give me word in chat. I mean, that's a good example. And this is hilarious to me. This is hilarious to me. There are a couple of follow-up tweets where I didn't save them, which, blame me. Blame me for that one. I made a mistake. It will happen again. People are complaining about this because they're breaking stuff. It's not a break forever. You can just keep cheating with your 6,000 USD device. 6,000 USD? That's not what people are saying here, but whatever. Anywhere else. The thing here is, people are complaining about the insane anti-cheat options for Riot games, or just games made by Riot. That's probably a better wording. Like, oh, look at this, the Vanguard software is really aggressive. I had a lot of trouble when installing your fighting game and whatnot. And I had to laugh at people. I don't know if they're just illiterate, people just don't remember anything, or they just don't fucking care. I guess probably just makes all literally everything you said. I do remember when they released, what game was it? Their shooter game. Is it Apex? Is it Valorant? I have no idea. All of those games look literally the same to me. They won't be by Riot. I guess I could look that up, actually. Riot games. Valorant, it was Valorant. My bad. Please understand, they all look the same to me. They look like this kind of trash here. Valorant release dates. 2020, goddammit, it's just been 6 years already. And people were hollering on social media because they had an insane anti-cheat software included that was so aggressive and so pervasive that it was pretty much malware. Chinese malware. Apparently it was just spying on you and whatnot. I'm like, okay, why do people allow this? Why are you still playing their games? Why are you still allowing them to infect your computers with this strange software? Of course, they're gonna do shit like this if you tell them, you know what, it's fine, you have kernel level anti-cheating. Yeah, maybe not. Yeah, maybe not. I don't think this is a good company, but to be fair, I think it well known as a league hater. I wonder why. It's just relevant to hear a rumor that the functioning thing is just software or gets remote, but haven't been able to confirm. But you can't present the system is just installing. Whoop. I had the penalties from this will permanently damage the company. If it didn't happen with Valorant 2020, I don't think it will. Yeah, I'm saying definitely not gonna look for Riot because raise some red flags and the legality of the actions. Riot has every right to remote cater from their servers and games, which I agree to that. But not to destroy property if they have been, which also correct. That's correct. IOMMU is required to play their games. Especially their advice users when playing their games. And through sympathy for cheaters. We had glittering prizes that was actually okay back then, not so much now. All this because Windows refused to secure their kernel. I mean, that could be a problem too. They're breaking things people on, that's lots waiting to happen. It is true they have been bragging about this anti-cheat on social media, I've seen it. Maybe don't do that. Maybe don't. You know what? Fuck you, maybe do that. Brag, please brag more. If it's actually correct that you're breaking shit, eat shit and die. You get what you fucking deserve. I'm not gonna whip for you. You get what you deserve. What do we have here? Another thing is bad with video games, I suppose. We have something interesting here about the Stop Killing Games campaign. The Stop Killing Games campaign just had one of its biggest moments in the European Parliament. Every single time I read the words biggest moments in the European Parliament, I shiver a little bit. Because I know these are not good people, and I wonder how are they gonna use this for evil. Oh, look at that! They are trying to implement an alternative against MasterCard and Visa. Hey, that's good. Because making that the EU. Why? Why? I liked it. I like it. Why is it gonna be worse? It's always gonna be worse, isn't it? During a debate in Strasbourg, many members of the European Parliament spoke in support of better consumer rights for video games. Most speakers agreed the companies should not be able to shut down games that people had already paid for. Yes, the only thing that's worrying here is a bit of the support, honestly. Support came from several political groups, including the Greens, Renew Europe, S&D, the left, and even some EPP members. Yeah, I don't like most of these groups. And I had to wonder, how are they gonna fuck this up? Because they do every single time. If you're cautious about these politicians in the EU, you're probably right. Many MEPs said games should be treated more like products than temporary online services. I can agree to that. It's... Okay, once again, I need to go with this speech. When we're dealing with digital stuff in general, it is always a strange mix between a product and a service, but it kind of feels like you're always getting the worst protections, which is not fair. If you buy a game and you tell me it's just an online service, well, is it really? I don't think it is. Oh, you're just buying a license, but that is not true. Because if you go to back in the day, you were buying a game. You're having a cartridge, whatever it is. I'm once again filling here with my... I Link to the Past for the GBA. It's still on the desk as well. Because the GBA is usually on the desk. If you're buying a cartridge, you have a physical product, which is fine, it is normal. I'm okay with that. You bought a physical product, ensure the physical product at some point will probably eat shit and die. That's how they work, sadly. But, I mean, we're all beholden to entropy. We will all die at some point. But it's not a case of the company coming here and they're like, ah, you know what? You can't play it anymore. Why not? Because we released A Link to the Past Remastered for, I don't know, the Switch 3. Well, that's unfair because I paid for a product. Why is it different when it's a digital copy? I understand that some of the games have the backing of servers, but it's not really that necessary, aside from online gaming. I don't think it is. I do think we should have better protections for these products, because they're mostly products, not services, right? If I would go on Steam and if I don't know, Valheim, or they say Plantation Simulation, How is that a service? I don't think it is. Oh, but they can update that. Yes, but they don't have to. Just because they can update the game, they can just take the game away from me. I don't think that's fair. It's giving too much power to the game makers when it doesn't make any sense. The argument that buyers shouldn't lose access just because the company didn't support or shifts players to another title. Well, that's one of the biggest complaints, right? See, Overwatch ended. Now it's time for Overwatch 2. Well, I don't want to move to Overwatch 2. Well, good luck, because Overwatch 1 doesn't exist. Also, Overwatch 2 ended up becoming, name-wise, just Overwatch again. That was a really strange thing to happen, to be fair. Some MEPs criticized the European Commission for not taking a stronger action. There are concerns that may issue only a non-binding statement instead of a new laws, which... non-binding statement is probably a bad thing to happen here. Once again, it's a lot of legalese. I'm not quite sure about the ramifications for everything here, but... I don't know. There's many things that are really suspicious out of all of this. Of course, I want Stop Killing Games to be a good thing to happen. Hey, I like games, okay? I like games after all. Maybe, even if people don't believe me. The main show that Stop Killing Games is now being taken seriously at the highest political level in Europe. The discussion is no longer only about gaming, but also about digital ownership, consumer rights, and companies' obligations after purchase. Which, fair, not so much companies' obligations after purchase, right? When we say purchase, we're assuming product. But then again, if you're taking away the product, it's not an obligation. It's just, why do you have so much power? Why do you hold so much power all your products after selling them? That's a big problem. Never pay for gacha games, by the way. Never do that. You know they're gonna die. They always do. I will own nothing and be happy. Work Hill Blizzard Reward. I kinda like these pirate memes. Don't know too much about the guy, but he appears to just have hot take after hot take, and not the good kind. Don't let people continue to play the video games until the company dies, but they won't let people on the internet without a digital ID. I mean, yeah. Well, we're assuming the first one, it's what's gonna happen. We love Counter-Strike and playing every version online, some like Edition Studio, etc. I think. Yeah, that is good. It's like when they did that. I think that's also the case on Minecraft. You can play other versions if you want, not only by just sailing the 7 seas, which I mean, of course, right? But in the official launcher, which I mean, that's kind of cool. I think that's fine. You cannot really do that in your usual online games. Let's say, League of Legends, because we were talking about Riot. I don't think you can just do that, because you would need everybody on the same version. But at the same time, I do think it would be doable to have some sort of version checker, right? Okay, are you on the last patch? No? What patch are you on? Maybe you could just add it as an option for custom games. Just for custom games. I would be okay with that, but it's my understanding that League of Legends has really bad spaghetti coding. You don't want to see that. Especially when they changed the launcher. That was a huge disaster. Everything is now launcher dependent, and the launcher says, well, shouldn't happen, but it does. Hey, successful game, I'm being told. Yeah, sure thing. As with these sales games for $200, don't they? God damn it. That's painful. Really painful. But yeah, I do think that sometimes you're like, okay, but I do remember this old version of this game, that's pretty cool. And that only really happens when people make private servers for stuff. And of course you will not see necessarily the perfect server for you, because I mean, the people that made the private servers, they will make the server they want to play. It's probably not the same as what you want to play, but if you're lucky, it's close enough. And I do think it's interesting playing through the old versions. Oh wow, look at this. It's back in the day, everything was limited. You had the get good experience, which I do enjoy a lot in video games, to be fair. That happened with Overwatch, we just mentioned. Oh look, it's the alt events and the alt progression for Overwatch. It's OG Overwatch, and people were playing that. People were having fun with that. and then they kept progressing the patches, and people were like, yeah, no. I don't want this anymore. Kind of the same thing happened with Classic WoW, I believe. And they kept advancing patches, and people were like, yeah, no. I know it's a difficult situation, but it's something on top of that, right? Sure, you didn't just buy a specific patch. Maybe you did, if we're talking about WoW, right? Because you buy expansions and whatnot, but I don't know. I don't know. It's really weird. It's really weird, especially when we're talking about this legality. I just hope we can find a middle ground that appeases most people. Speaking of most people, I don't think it's most people. This article, or a similar article, has been running around recently on social media. It's not new. It's from late October 2025, but I don't think I read it back in the day, and seems somewhat fun and interesting because the title is just really strange. Report: nearly half of youth adolescents avoid games that portray women in stereotypical and harmful ways. Of course, people on social media were wondering, what games do that? Especially no games? Or just games in general? What do they mean by this? It's just because the women are attractive? Which, it's a possibility. It's not read, so we'll see. The study also finds that 47.8% of respondents struggle to find characters that represents them. Oh boy. Here we go again. The representation. And you know what? I think that is wrong. Not because there's a lot of people that didn't feel represented by the characters, but because they want to feel represented by the characters. I think that is wrong. I don't think fiction or video games should represent real life. I think fiction should be much more interesting than real life. So what do you have? Boring, annoying people from real life in the game. Maybe that's just me. Over 40% of adolescent gamers in the US with immediately depicting women in a stereotypical and harmful way. And according to a new study, I don't think they're gonna define what that means, sadly. The Instant Screams Report 2025, conducted by the Center for Scholars and Storytellers, CSS. I think CSS is something different too. And ECLA surveyed 1,500 adolescents, ages 10 to 24, about their experiences with gaming. The report found that 42.1% of women and girls, you know this is gonna be good, steer clear of games that portray women in a derogatory way, as did 36.8% of boys and men. What do you mean by derogatory way? Once again, because they're young people, and it's modern gaming, I need to ask, I need to wonder, are we talking about female characters being attractive? I thought women also liked attractive females, but maybe I'm wrong. After all, we appear to live in a strange war against regular traditional beauty. I don't know what I was trying to say. One of the biggest issues among those surveyed was the fear of harassment. Harassment? In online gaming? I don't think that happens too much anymore. Have you seen the filtering? It's impossible to communicate properly anymore. They found that over half of women and girl gamers felt as though they had to act a certain way when gaming because of gender, race, or other identity. No, you just need to get good. Especially when we're talking about competitive games. SMA held similar sentiments, with 64.5% feeling a similar pressure to present themselves differently while gaming. Isn't that just self-inflicted? I'm struggling here to see what they mean by this. I understand, especially nowadays, there's this insane image of gamers. They're evil, they're toxic, and they're just insulting everybody. And, I mean, sure, that was not uncommon in some games back in the day. The Xbox lobbies and whatnot, as people say, the Call of Duty, the Counter-Strikes. But people were young back then and nothing happened. Also, you can just mute them. Also, why do you care what people think about you? If you truly believe they're just a bunch of losers, it doesn't make any sense. Also, just to say the games are toxic is clearly insane. Because not only is that untrue, on top of that, you're trying to change, quote unquote change. I don't think it's a growing sentiment by this younger people in general. But you're trying to change the established culture. Maybe the problem is yours, after all. Overall, cross identities, adolescents reported feeling pressure around social conformity, performance, or skill expectations, and acting out or contracting stereotypes, the CSS noted. If you're playing competitive games, that's normal. You're always gonna find somebody that's better than you. Chances are you're not the best at any single video game. And yes, you need to get good, but that's normal. Okay, you start from pretty mid-scale, and if you keep playing, you will get better. Or hopefully you would get better. I've seen some people that never learn, so there's also that. Social features that make video games a place for community can also lend themselves to social pressures. Community. Instead of features and lies, I hate this insane use of community and fandom, because we've seen this way too many times, not just about video games, but in general. Once again, just liking or playing in video game does not necessarily make a community in the sense of a shared culture or shared dynamics. Then again, in modern times we see people using gaming communities, manga and fandoms, anything that has to deal with groups of hobbyists to some extent, is a place for normal interaction, normal friendship interactions, which is, I'm not trying to say you're gonna get friends this way, but just how to say this, and this is a social exchange. Instead of having your normal friend group and then insane people that play video games, for example, now your friend group is, for example, a gaming community, and you're trying to polish the gaming community as if it was your friend group, which is extremely misaligned. And that's why we see, especially nowadays too, once again, many attempts to gatekeep, and it makes sense. Okay, if we're talking about, I don't know, League of Legends, we're talking about Counter-Strike, if we're talking about, I don't know, Minecraft, we're talking about any anime that you might like. What is something that younger people enjoy? One Piece? Never got into One Piece. And you're trying to interact with these quote-unquote communities and quote-unquote fandoms, even though I would use fandom as a derogatory term. You would do that with expectations of them being communities and fandoms. If you try to interact with them as they're your friend group, there's a massive mismatch there. So no wonder we see stuff like this on top of that. The problem is self-inflicted, and I guess younger people don't really know how to socialize anymore with normal friends. Many things happen, sure, whatever, but I also don't think they're trying. I agree that things are rough for them too, in that regard. Diversity also remains an important subject for adolescent gamers, with 41.6 considering racial diversity cultures and storylines, and choosing titles to play. Who cares? I'm gonna be honest, who cares? Every single time they do that, oh look at this game is so diverse. That game is just ass. It's absolute trash. Irredeemable in any way, shape or form. Because it's politics first, entertainment last. No, diversity doesn't matter. But shouldn't you be able to see yourself in video games? No, I don't want to see myself in video games. Why would I? I'm a flawed flesh bag, okay? Why would I want to see people with the same flaws that I have, or even worse flaws than the ones that I have? No, it's fiction. Please, let me have something that's more interesting than real life. I don't want to see Reddit-tier commentary, this is not mixtape, okay? I want to see people rising up to the occasion. Because people in real life don't do that anymore. Maybe that's something we can hope to achieve at some point. But right now, things are not looking great. However, 47.8% of respondents said they struggle to find games with characters that represent them. Why do you want to be represented in the games? It makes no sense. Just play something that has a character creation. It's not that deep. It's not that deep. Also, even if the game has character creation, do you really want to make yourself? I don't think it will. That's something I try to avoid, usually. I'm making a character, a fictional character. Think again. I guess we're living in this modern society where people cannot tell apart fiction from reality. Everything has to be reality. Modern reality. Yeah, have you seen The Odyssey? Yeah, me neither, but I've seen the casting choices. We have Asian, 55.9%, and Hispanic or Latino, 56.3% players, were especially affected by this issue. It's also self-inflicted. This is also self-inflicted. There's not enough Asian characters. Yeah, how about when you're making an Assassin's Creed game about Japan, you have an actual Japanese guy there. No, it has to be the black guy. Why? Well, you know why. Come on. It was the wake of George Floyd, so of course they had to add the black character. Why do you need to see yourself? I play Japanese games all the time because I think they're good. Do you think the characters in those games represent me? No, I am not Japanese. I am not even Asian. I'm European. What are we talking about? This is really insane. Okay, this is really insane, and I don't think I believe it. Especially with the Hispanic or Latinos. Especially affected by this issue. They don't find characters that represent themselves. These people love Dragon Ball. Do you know what Dragon Ball has? A lot of aliens, and there's a bunch of monkey people from outer space. They scream and they get really strong. Wow. What about the green guy? I'm told the green guy is black. No, the green guy is just a green guy. Demonic aliens from Magic Slug Race? Are you gonna tell me those people are complaining, oh, I can't find anything that represents myself? I just don't believe it. I just don't believe it. Maybe it's more common in younger people. I mean, what isn't in younger people nowadays? And the positive side, the Teens and Screens report found that 88% of respondents found a little community through gaming, with almost 70% making them feel more connected with friends. I don't need to go into this loop again. I already explained my complaint with this. It is wrong. You're exchanging the usual friendships for gaming communities. That's wrong. That's wrong. Gaming communities exist, and you can have friends there. You cannot police them as if it's just a friend group. Studies have found that 52.3% felt that gaming helped regulate their emotions, with less than a third reported that playing games made them feel more aggressive, to 2.8%, or stressed, to 7.8%. Mentioned in this article. No, those are just tags. And that's something completely different. I understand why. And I'm gonna teach you the solution to this. Stop playing free-to-play competitive games. Trust me, stop it. It's not worth the time or the strange feelings they can evocate on you. League of Legends, Valorant, Apex Legends, Counter-Strike, Fortnite. Yeah. Completely disregard all of those quote-unquote games. They're free for a reason. Because those games are feeding on you. Sounds insane, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean with that. That says not a lot about games, but a lot about younger people. They have been convinced that everything's just fun and rainbows, everything's just about my diversity. You know what? No. No. It's no wonder when people keep pushing for that, we keep getting worse and worse products. Don't think it's random. But to keep it happening nonetheless. Disgusting. Disgusting. There's also another tweet here I kinda want to mention. It's somewhat related to younger people, so it kinda makes sense. And I do wonder if this is the biggest schism we have with old gamers and new gamers. This from Revenant, in response to the tweet by The Fighter. Well, the Final Fantasy doesn't respect your time. I'm almost 30 hours into Rebirth, and I feel like I did only 2 hours of the main story. Meanwhile, the other 28 hours is full cutscenes, generic Sunny World map side quests, minigames, etc. And, of course, we're never against optional content, we're never against exploration, and we're never against side quests. But they have to be reasonable, and they shouldn't feel as just padding for the game. especially when we talk about the open world. Well, is open world really good? It can work with some games, but nowadays we have just open world by default because, hey, it's the new thing, it's the current thing. Is it the good thing, at least? Well, about that, maybe, maybe not, right? So we have here this tweet by Revenant saying, Imagine gamers TM are just addicted to tedium. They want video games to feel like a job. They don't think or yearn for actual escapism. They just want something hollow and mind-numbing to fill the time between working and sleeping. I don't know if I can agree to that. I do understand where the sentiment is coming from, but it really feels like this guy is into something. Because I don't think games in general are seen as full interactive experiences anymore, not by younger people. So I do wonder if that's just the schism. We older gamers enjoy the immersion, we enjoy the stories when we have them, we enjoy intricate gameplay. It's not really that intricate, but we, of course, hold in high regards the high, how do I say this? That's really the gameplay loop, right? We hold in high regard meaningful interactivity with the game. But it kind of feels like modern games are just, or modern games slash modern gamers, because they're kind of related in this case. It's just about having a pastime. Sure, I've seen some people comparing the new gacha games with old MMOs. It's just insane grinding. But nowadays you have to do daily grinds, your daily quests, your daily stamina, your weeklies, whatever you want to call it, however you want to call it, the tedium. Instead of insane constant grinding in MMO. But Digging It is somewhat different, right? It's just a checkbox. It feels like a checkbox to me, at least. It's not so much, oh, you're just grinding a dungeon for the drops, or you're just grinding something from materials to craft something. It is just, I had to do my dailies. Why? Well, there are dailies, there are weeklies, they always give me stuff. And especially when we're talking about gacha games, these daily slash weekly quests usually give you gacha currency, which also comes into relation with the fear of missing out, so on and so forth. But you don't really see too much. Of course, I'm not talking about every single new gen gamer, it would be insane to say that, but I think it's at the very least a common sentiment. You see this disdain for games that are just immersive. I'm saying the games have to be long. I do appreciate when games are on the longer side. There's also too long for games. I mean, oh wow, would you play this? I mean, it's 200 hours. I think 200 hours may be a little bit much. I think that's a reasonable thing to say. But then again, if you're spending $80 and the game lasts for 10 hours, that's not great. Not a great price either, right? There has to be some sort of balance. Everything is just seen as a checkbox nowadays, instead of wanting to get immersed and just play at your own pace. I know I fall for this sometimes, but usually just only on stream, because I'm achievement focused on stream. I want to do stuff, I want to complete the stuff on stream, because we have limited time here, of course. I think this might also be related to, let's say, maybe the content creation side of things. Because of course, if you're a content creator and something releases, you have to be the first one to play it, you have to be the first one to complete it, you have to be the first one to make videos about it, you have to be the first one so you can get all of the clicks. But I don't think that's a mistake, and it's a mistake for most people. I mean, if you're a content creator and that's your loop, whatever, you do you. I think that's for me. But I don't think that's the common way of playing. I don't think that's how games are intended to be played necessarily. Oh yeah, they released this game. I finished it in less than a week. What do you mean less than a week? Did you even have fun with it? And I'm gonna say that I don't think most people did. Well, maybe not most people, but it's gotta be a sensible amount of people that did it. And sometimes you really get into the game, you're like, why? I can't stop playing, it's so addicting. Really, with modern games? I don't think so. I would need some examples of that to happen. So I'm assuming at least some people that watch these kind of creators get into the same loop because that's what they see. But you don't need to get a game, just finish it in the first weekend. Back in the day, back in the day, when you were a kid, you were usually kind of lucky to get 2, maybe 3 games a year. You need them to last. You would replay them a lot, you would try different stuff, you would explore a lot. It was pretty much the only thing you had anyway. Nowadays I think there's, to some extent, an oversaturation. It's probably overspending in some cases. Maybe not too much. We've seen the numbers. Yeah, not a lot of people buy a huge amount of games per year anyway. I don't know, it's... I do feel this insane gluttony of having to just finish the game right now. And it's supposed to be entertainment, not a checklist. You're not meant to be necessarily, oh, the best player ever. Just have fun your own way, okay? Is this me defending easy mode? I actually don't care too much about it. But I don't think every single game needs it. What about the replies here? I'm a little bit scared. It's a shame because game devs don't think longer is better no matter how much filler or shouting. Like modern easy games being 20 to 30 hours longer than they should be. You can clearly see when some games are overstaying their welcome for sure. In the action game is 10 to 20 hours, and the ideal RPG is 40 to 60 hours IMO. Anything more or less and you get messed up pacing. I can agree to this, yeah, that's probably correct. I mean, with the RPG, we may consider side content in the 40 to 60 hours maybe. You can have a lot of optional content anyway. I just want that sometimes that we play 4 sims, 15 hours a week. But it's not what I want in minority-focused games. I mean, there's also that, right? Different genres appealing to different demographics. Micro's Generation Syndrome, narrative inspiration, or anathema to them. It's also laughable the guy is a bit younger than me and is modern Final Fantasy is pejorative. He played old classic turn-based Final Fantasy when he probably grew up playing Roblox. Well, the guy is called My Opinion is Correct, so no rebuttal here, I suppose. I understand where this guy is coming from. See, Minecraft is a game that actually benefits from being an open world. It's the whole stick of the game. Open world exploration, blocky construction, and so on. But not every single game benefits from that. For some of them, it's just the embellishment. When people just want to experience existing the least amount possible between obligations. Yeah, I wanna be a hero in a fantasy land, okay? Shit, I still have the heart of a shonen. I agree, couldn't finish the birth either. Genius and the writing caught up to me, and my frustration boiled over. Recently I've been getting into Xenosaga. It has flaws, but it's a great story and the gameplay is interesting. I'll post it as well. I mean, seeing all the games and the PS2 I believe. Young map, I remember being captivated by pachinko machines because they look so fantastically complicated and engaging. Sometimes most are just slot-tier dopamine trips with a small tedious minigame at best. But the game reminds me of this. Looks fun, isn't, doesn't care. Also, an insane amount of payments too, right? Also, clearly relates to modern gacha games too. There's been people praising FO4 for city building mechanics because it incentivizes them to pick up cans to recycle. That shit has rotted everyone's brains. I see what they're trying to say here. I guess I can agree for the most part too. I don't think they're wrong. And if they're wrong, I don't think they're really too wrong. I mostly understand where they're coming from. And I can really see the vision here, I suppose. It's also kind of funny, because this is also in the wake of, the thing out of state game, quote-unquote game of course, mixtape. It's the best, it's finally elevating games to the higher arts. Well, no. You cannot have just a story and no gameplay. That's just a quote-unquote interactive movie. I don't even know if that's a proper description anyway. You can have just minimal tasks all the time with no real substance to the game. Sure, you might not need a story or something insane. We had the guy that mentioned the sim farms, for example. They don't really have stories anyway, but sure, you can have the farming system if you want. It is It's rushing up with games once again, which kind of disappoints me a lot. Because hey, I like games. I don't like anti-games. Then again, modern day. But for games, you need a core set of rules and mechanics that interact meaningful with each other. And just think a vacuum if you are a little bit hopeful about the game being good. You need meaningful interaction with the environment, whatever it is. You don't need the open world necessarily, and you shouldn't be insanely preachy, and you shouldn't have just a bunch of minimal tasks. Fun that I say that when I'm just trying to get root achievements sometimes that it can be. You take a rest on that. It's completely optional, at least, so that's self-inflicted. That's not imposed to me by the games. Then again, how is that gonna help us sell microtransactions? Well, I don't think it will, therefore, completely disregarded. But I do think this is, in general, pretty interesting conversation to have. I've been juggling a little bit with the idea of newer versus older gamers for some months already, and I think this guy brought up a pretty good point. What else do we have here? I think we're gonna move on to AI for a little bit. This is something I briefly mentioned the other day, and oh brother, this is not gonna be good. For most people, and for Google. Google search, as you know it, is over. The year of the 10 blue links is officially over. As the Google I/O conference on Tuesday, Google unveiled an AI-powered overhaul of search centered around the reimagined intelligent search box. What the company describes as the biggest change to the entry point to the web since the search debuted more than 25 years ago. Instead of returning a simple list of links, Google Search will drop users into AI-powered interactive experiences at times. Google is also introducing tools that can dispatch information agents to gather information on users' behalf, along with tools that let users build personalized mini apps tailored to their needs. This is going to be a fucking disaster. I've seen people on social media complaining about, okay, but this AI is just ass. It doesn't work. It's an AI agent just slapped on top of the search engine. And it's not really cohesive. If you try to search something like disregard definition, as trying to look up the definition for the word disregard, you will get the AI agent being like, oh yeah, don't worry, I will disregard the definition. Okay, cool, that's not what I'm asking, you fucking idiot. That's not what I'm asking, just give me the definition. Back in the day, Google had a built-in dictionary, what happened to that? I've seen some search engines somewhat celebrating, oh look, we are the future, like Brave. I like Brave the browser, Brave the search engine is ass, I'm sorry. But if they're smart enough, they will improve the search engine, hopefully. And something actually usable. That's what they should do in my opinion, that's their biggest fault right now. Resulting experience will no longer look much like how people envision Google search, which has been defined by wrong links to websites that have the information you need. To revamped search experience, the new search box simply expands to accommodate longer, more conversational queries, rather than making you decide what type of search experience or mode you want to choose at the start of your query. Also have a new AI-powered query suggestion system that goes beyond autocomplete to help people craft more complex and nuanced queries, Google says. This is the same as YouTube because it's the same company, right? But Google right now is just obsessed with AI. And I understand that the AI is a very interesting methodology that could be interesting for... just could be interesting in general, I guess. It's the current thing, so sure, it's interesting. Maybe you should invest into that, maybe just a little bit. I don't disagree with that, but they're trying to make everything AI. Why are you doing that? We don't need literally everything to be AI. If I'm searching for something, just have the normal searching. I say this, well, I've been complaining for the YouTube searching function being complete ass for way too many years. Descend to hell. Those AI overviews will also allow you to ask follow-up questions in AI mode. Beginning Tuesday, the company noted. I thought this was a thing already. Might be just DuckDuckGo, maybe? I'm not sure. While Google says that AI mode is not the default experience, search user interface encourages users to ask follow-up questions instead of scrolling down the links to other pages. The links to clarify have not entirely disappeared, it is no longer the priority for many types of searches. So dang, it's not a fucking search engine, is it? You fucking idiot. It's something else, with the search engine still there. A corpse being puppeteered by some sort of necromancer. Google starts introducing agentic capabilities and AI-powered interactive features into the search experience. This means people will spend even less time clicking the traditional blue links that Google search used to return. But I don't care about what the AI is telling me necessarily, because I know I want to go to a specific website. Why are you making it so fucking difficult? The age of search engines has come to an end, maybe. Starting this summer, people will be able to create, customize, and manage multiple new information agents within Google Search. These agents can work in the background 24/7 to track changes in the web and alert you to new information. For instance, you can have an agent track market movements based on customer parameters. Google suggests, oh, fucking damn it, of course it is. Oh, look at this, you can become rich just using this AI. Just pay for my course. Extremely Indian. An extremely Indian thing to do here, okay? My goodness, this is fucking dire. While the underlying technology here is powered by AI, which makes it more capable, the idea itself is not a new one. In 2003, Google launched Google Alerts. This is one of the many cool things that just died in less than a year. It's just a detection service that emailed users with new web results matched the research terms. The web was smaller and more manageable then, of course, and this became part of many information workers' toolsets. The service still exists in some form, but it's no longer the way most web users go about acquiring new information. Information gathering agents are an evolution of Google Alerts. Beyond the spotting changes, they can make sense of them too. I mean, they can try. That's for sure. You can send an alert to track market movements in a particular sector with very specific parameters, and the agent will map out a monitoring plan for you, including the tools and the data it needs to access, like your real-time finance data, set of search, list read, splitting and press briefing, and will then keep track of those changes and let you know when the conditions are met, and provide a synthesized update with links and information you can dive into further, she added. This shift means that searching the web will increasingly be performed by AI agents rather than humans. Instead, people will focus more on acting on the information those agents provide, instead of manually clicking links. Of course, this is a venue for further censorship. Well, you see, these AI is being controlled by the Google overlords. So despite there being websites, despite being information that could be useful for your query, you have to understand, they're saying no things, we disagree completely with their framing, so they're gonna be censored. And many small websites, as some people have mentioned before too, are probably going to die just because of this. Because it was not only just annoying having the AI on top and then the sponsorship, now you're gonna have even more trash in the search engine. So people finding your website is gonna be much more difficult, at least through the search engine. This will become an afterthought with the coming changes to the search result experience, which builds on Google's earlier launches of AI search features, like a short summaries known as AI Overviews, its conversational mode, AI Mode. AI Overviews are now used by more than 2.5 billion monthly users. I mean, are they used? Are they actually used, or do they just appear? Because if I'm searching stuff on Google, I just get an AI overview, despite not being what I'm looking for. Sure, the AI overview appeared, but I wouldn't say I was using it. I wonder how they track it. Meanwhile, its conversational search mode, launched last year, now tops 1 billion monthly users. ChatGPT, for comparison, has 900 million weekly active users as of earlier this year. It's also my understanding that ChatGPT is actually really bad. It shares with a lot of stuff. This suggests that ChatGPT is now seeing more frequent engagement, with users coming back repeatedly throughout the week. Google has more totally unique people touching its AI features over the course of a month. I don't know if that is true. That may seem like a bit of a gope. I mean, sure, if you're using ChatGPT, you will probably go back to ChatGPT. Also some people using ChatGPT instead of a friend. Hey, once again, same narrative. Maybe don't. Maybe don't, you're falling for the clanker. Yeah, there's the combination of Gemini and Google anti-gravity. I wish he had actual anti-gravity. The company's agentic development platform, search results will begin to look more like interactive web pages. This is kind of funny to me. Because we see this all the time in tech. It doesn't matter the platform, it doesn't matter the website, it doesn't matter the company. Hey, we have something that works. How about we completely change it and turn it into something completely different? I bet our users are gonna love it. Yeah, keep betting. Keep betting. Let's see what happens. Keep betting. Some of the sites like YouTube and Twitch want to become TikTok despite being completely different. Search can build custom experiences just for your individual questions, from dynamic layouts, interactive visuals, to persistent and frustrated spaces. You can return to again and again, says Reid. One of the ways Google is integrating these new capabilities with generative UI user interface, where it builds custom widgets and visualizations on the fly in answers to user search questions. That's gonna choke, dude. That's gonna choke so fucking much. I complained briefly in the beginning of the stream about this insane memory leaks I see all the time. I guess I need to mention once again. YouTube has a really stupid memory leak. It doesn't matter the browser you use, because it's not browser side. It's just the website being stupid. They have some sort of a script which is used to place the buttons below the player in a video. But sometimes this script doesn't stop. So it keeps trying to do stuff. So it keeps draining your resources more and more. And you're gonna have generative UI? Bold! Bold move for sure. You can imagine, for example, how crashing about black holes in space could lead to an interactive visual that brings the concept to life, Brent said. And that the users can ask follow-up questions and see Google respond with brand new visuals in real time. I mean, that seems useful. I'm gonna be real, that seems useful. I don't know if the embedding itself is gonna work properly, but that's a different issue, I suppose. Not a horrible idea, as long as it's accurate. Well, says the new system was built in partnership with the Google DeepMind team in the Gemini Flash 3.5. It will roll out to everyone who uses Google free of charge this summer. It will not roll out, it will be imposed. It's not the same. Also, Gemini, I don't know too much about different agents, but it is my understanding that Gemini is actually not that good either. It's not surprising, it is Google after all. In addition, Google will allow users to tap into anti-gravity to build their own customizable, stateful experiences with, think, many apps. You're in search, use natural language commands. Again, this isn't so much about information retrieval as it is about action. Isn't it just jingling keys? That seems a bit strange. It could be mixed up, could be a thing out of thing game. For instance, you could build a meal planning app using information from your own calendar to help you decide what to prep and when to eat, or fitness app created for your specific goals. I mean, sure, I guess. Sure, you can do it. I don't think it's necessarily bad. But I do wonder if this is ideal, right? Of course you can use the AI for this, but are you really gonna overload something as basic as when to eat to the clanker? I don't know about that. I do remember. I don't try to fearmonger or anything like that, but I do remember people really being wary of the AI when some AI made recipes were actually pretty toxic. Like, it's actually gonna hurt you. I don't think that's the case though, but Google should be really careful. If something wrong happens with any of these, they are legally liable. Or potentially legally liable. I mean, if you're selling me a service, like a meal planning app, or something with the calendar, it actually hurts me in the physical realm, yeah, you'll lie to me. It's probably something that will happen at some point. I haven't seen nothing too bad, to be fair. I don't want people dying, okay? Hot take, I know. Combined, this change will likely further decimate Google's referrals to publishers, which have already been suffering from declining referrals due to AI overviews. This has put some independent media operations out of business, and things will likely get worse. There's little time left for publishers to adapt. The new search box is arriving this week, and generative UI is arriving this summer. Both are free. I mean, sure, you can say they're free, they're just imposed to you because they changed to the website. It's not something you buy. It's not a product. It's not a product. Many app-building feature and information agents will roll out first to Google AI Pro and Ultra subscribers this summer. Information agents. It was only when I read this that I truly realized what was the true problem with this. You know what's the main business of Google? Selling information. So, you know what's gonna happen now? They're gonna have more of your information. It's just gonna be easier for them to sell more of your information. Hey, now we know what you eat exactly and when you eat exactly. This could be a really great idea for ads. I hate it. I hate ads. I hate Google. I hate when they do this. I hate everything. Not able enough though. But Google's long-term plan is to make its AI technology more broadly accessible, including its personal AI agent Spark, which will eventually be free as will many of the AI features. For that reason, we focus on delivering frontier models. Frontier models. I found it funny. I don't know why. Highly capable, but also very efficient, fast, and at a lower price. It's because we want to bring it to as many people as possible. Of course, we bring it to as many people as possible so we get as much information as possible. And the same thing, that's an area where we'll shine, cool CEO. Sundar Pichai. Sounds like an American name. Saying in press briefing ahead of I.O. Okay. I don't know if this is really something doable nowadays. I have to admit I'm not the most knowledgeable about AI. We talk about AI a lot because it's the current thing, and I don't think a lot of people make mistakes about it. Very... maybe not there, right? But some great mistakes, I do believe. If you want to have meal planner or calendar or whatnot, maybe we should try to create your own local AI agent instead of just using Google for everything. On top of this, which I guess I will mention a little bit, depending everything onto Google, or just depending Google for everything, better wording for sure, it's a several layer problem on top of that. Maybe don't, maybe don't. Yeah, that's not something I would use, personally. But some people would, because in theory, it's gonna make you more productive. But I just don't think people should be okay with companies selling their information willy-nilly. I think your information and privacy is really important. Then again, people don't care anymore. Thank you, social media. Very fucking cool. We also have, speaking of AI, Meta reportedly to begin cutting about 8,000 jobs this week as AI spending surges. Ah, jeez, what happened? Apparently 1,000 people so the AI can generate good morning comment faster. The last thing employees will see from their office window. That's funny. That's funny. I don't know if Meta's AI is actually that good, but they probably had a huge bloat of employees anyway. Seems to be the case in the state companies. They've been having it for quite some time. We also have, which is somewhat related. Somewhat related. While CEO fires entire HR team, blames them for creating non-existent problems. Well, isn't that funny? We've been saying this for many years, but I guess it's actually true. He seems pretty young too, maybe in his 40s for all I know though. Oh, 31 if only I read. The 31-year-old CEO of a historical trouble fintech company. Thing is financial, I'm assuming, not fish thing. That'd be funny though. Imagine the fish. Ooh, with technological advancements. That's a bit scary. Well, Financial revealed this week that he fired his entire HR department as part of a 30% reduction in headcount earlier this year. Brian Draslow made the admission on Tuesday at Fortune's Workforce Innovation Summit. He blamed the downsizing in part to inept, lazy, and entitled staff. Hey, but then he's saying that, and I'm in the wrong? Absolutely not. We had an HR team. That HR team was creating problems that didn't exist. The CEO, what described Silicon Valley as a boys' club full of mob bosses, said at the summit. And this is extremely obvious. This is extremely obvious, and I'm sorry to tell you this, but this is gonna happen every single time. The objective of the HR team is to deal with problems. So, what do you do if you don't have problems in the company? Well, maybe you have to generate them. It also happens with UI divisions? Not think division is the best word to use it, but gonna use it. On websites. Oh, but the UI was good. Yeah, but if they don't keep changing the UI, their job becomes obsolete, so they will get fired. This is literally the same line. You need excuses for your job to keep existing. Therefore, you need to keep creating problems. HR in a nutshell. Those problems disappeared when you let them go. Person reportedly told his employees that going forward, Bolt will be operating as a much leaner organization, while leveraging AI at our core. Speaking of AI, not intended, but funny nonetheless. He framed the move as a progression from a larger company back to startup mode. We need a group of people who are very oriented around getting things done. And there's just the culture of not getting things done and complaining a lot. Person said, Hey! We've been saying this for many years, but finally CEO saying that, so maybe more people will realize you don't really need HR. It's only gonna make up fucking problems. There are also not been the allegations of HR being a kindergarten job for women. They are extremely overrepresented in HR, sadly. President further asserted the culture of laziness and entitlement had grown across the company in his absence from January 31st, 2022 to March 2025. I mean, you were out of the company for more than 3 years? Why would you do that? Yeah, of course things are gonna change, and probably not for the best. Speaking of the alleged delinquents, he said that ultimately, most of these people just have to be let go. We have a team a quarter of the size. We're much more junior, who work a lot harder, and have better energy, Russell said. Our customers are telling us we haven't had this type of attention in 4 years. Damn! See, it just works. You can just do things, and the things just work. Bolt! I was founded in 2014 and makes checkout payments technology. The company has a whooping valuation collapse from 11 billion in 2022 to 300 million in 2025. Yeah, no fucking wonder. A few short months after Ressler's departure from Bolt, the company was sued by its largest customer, Authentic Brands Group, because Bolt's products failed to integrate with Forever 21, resulting in 150 million USD in losses for the clothing company, according to Yahoo Finance. That's actually a lot of money. Yeah, no wonder. No wonder. And if you have HR people always on your ass with fucking bullshit, it's impossible for you to do your actual job, even if you wanted to do so. It just makes sense. As I claimed, this was the transparent attempt to renegotiate the company's agreements, Bolton ABJ settled in 2022. Ironically, our new CEO said the same thing 6 months into the job. HR was creating problems to fix in order to look like they were contributing. He said right through it. Funny thing is, most companies have useless resource training. HR department was the word I was thinking before. They create a ton of unnecessary work. This is a new trend. Yeah. HR departments are filled with women who are 100% on board with all this DEI nonsense. Every HR employee should be fired across the board for every company. If they don't like working at a company, quit and find another job. And I think this guy probably has a really good idea here of what's actually happening. HR is not what people think it is. They think HR is an advocate for employees. They don't want you to believe that too. If you're talking to anyone from HR, you know that you are the one in trouble. But they're universally just a risk management group protecting the company from lawsuits. That is all. In theory. In theory, at the very least. Well. AI HR, that's gonna be something interesting to see, but I don't think it's gonna really happen, but still. And we're going to go back to Google for a second here, because this is one of the implications of delegating everything onto Google. Google just permanently banned a manga artist's entire Google account just for uploading his own old manga files to Drive. A moderation trigger flagged it. He tried to submit appeal. The account rejected by Google, and it has lost everything like Gmail, Drive, all link services gone. You keep saying names to staff with Google. If you get banned, all of that is gone. Maybe don't do that. Holy ESL, dude! Where are you guys from? What the hell? European, goddammit, dude! How is it this bad? He never even sharing the files publicly. You're missing a verb there. It's only backing up his own private work like any creator or an artist. This is Google Drive and moderation in action. No human support and no serious. Holy ESL, what is going on here? What? No human support and no serious to take action. I'm not even sure what they're trying to say here. Physical storage or real private alternatives only. Support the artists getting screwed by this. The level of corporate overreach is insane. And there's a further story about this. By Emerald Apple. The manga artist banned from Google was Masahiro Itosugi, a hentai artist, as suspected. Well, bans anything that is CSAM adjacent, even if it is 100% fictional. He was banned while backing up his old manga art copies. His more famous works are Inari? Or... No, that's lineary, right? As in line art. Maybe? I'm not quite sure what this means. Let's see. That's a name. I think Italian name, that doesn't make any sense. Not Inari. Oh! That's just the name of it. Inari is the name of the manga. With the classic school theme and itchy setup, and the NTR Mahou Sky Noble King, I'm assuming this is a typo. The Saki, it's not a Japanese word that I'm saying. But the adventure of the magic user makes sense, right? It's likely mad when he uploaded works from Akisora, which was his most explicit series, according to his fans. It centered from intense taboo themes like incest and high school-aged characters. Much of his art style is drawn in the cute, youthful, loaded adjacent themes that are pretty common in Japanese hentai. Other artists have been banned as well. It's just Naoki Saito, who was banned when artwork was submitted to the cloud drive. This got his main YouTube channel and the account to be banned automatically. He had to migrate to a second channel. Hundreds of other artists, users and amateur artists have also been banned for similar kinds of illustrated exclusive content, where Google's AI considers drawing the same as real CSAM. Banned. I mean, you can tell it's probably pretty spicy by the looks of it. So once again, the AI going completely rogue on you, which there's not much you can do about it. Once again, I beg of you people, if you're not going to do Google fully, which I understand it's difficult because it offers useful services, and getting rid of all of that is difficult, annoying, maybe a lot of work, I get it. What about lowering your dependencies with Google? That seems like the way to go. You shouldn't just... I don't want to say it this way because I don't think it's correct. But don't just send your ass to Google, okay? It seems like a bad idea. If something no happens despite not being illegal or actually wrong, or the AI just goes insane on you, you're gonna get banned. And everything related to that is also gonna get banned. Maybe don't do that. I say this for you. Also, they're gonna keep stealing your information, which is something I quite dislike. Not great. Not great. Damn it, I need to drink so much today. I mean, we have been yapping. We have been yapping for more than an hour and a half, so I guess that is normal. What else? What do we have here? Well, speaking of Japan, I guess it only makes sense to talk about the true spies, the fires in Japan. From the Tokyo Weekender. Sacred Eternal Flame Hall destroyed in Mayajima Blaze. The Kaido Hall went missing, burned down amid a growing number of temple and shrine blazes across Japan. This is literally from 2 days ago. Amid a growing number of fires involving historic religious sites across Japan this year, the revered Great Kaido Hall on Mount Missing on Miyajima Island. Miyajima Island, isn't that repetitive? Isn't Jima the southern version of Shima, which already means island? Well, when same as people saying Mount Fuyama. Well, Yama really means mountain, so yeah, no. Water turning ablaze on Wednesday morning. Going to the parent service, the report came around 8:30 AM. Stating the hall was on fire. Firefighters eventually contained the flames after they spread to nearby woodland. No injuries were reported, which is thankful to some extent. So now for its eternal flame. This is a temple, so of course it's a Buddhist temple. Always remember the differences. If it's shrine, it's Shinto. If it's a temple, it's Buddhist. And it's in Japanese. Rikado Hall, part of Daishoin, main temple of the Omuru school of Shingon Buddhism. Hey, see what I mean? Yeah, we're making a mistake here. Was best known for its Kisu no Hi, eternal flame. Yeah, I think it's a literal translation. They have burned continuously for nearly 1200 years, I know my numbers. According to tradition, the flame was lit by the Buddhist monk Kobodaishi Kukai in 806, and it became one of the source flames for the Flame of Peace at Hiroshima Peace Memorial Park. The hall suffered repeated damage from fires and natural disasters over the centuries, including in 2005 when the structure was destroyed in another blaze. It was rebuilt the following year to preserve both the historic building and the sacred flame. Investigators at the time believed the earlier fire was caused by burning dead wood and incombustible materials inside the hall. Police are still investigating Wednesday's fire, which is reasonable. I mean, maybe don't do that. Maybe don't burn something like that in a wooden temple like that. It seems like a bad idea. That's what I'm trying to say. There's a temple in shrimp fires in 2026. Some other religious sites have also been damaged or destroyed by fire. Through the first half of 2026, in favorite buildings in Ehime Prefecture, Horinji Temple in Kumakogen, and the residence of the head priest at the Hotoji Temple in Asahigaoka were destroyed in separate fires. Half of Hotoji's head priest died in the blaze. I'm sorry to hear that, but I mean, that's likely to happen. Later that month, 5 people were killed in fire at Shurinji Temple in Yamaguchi Prefecture. In April, fire reported at Renshuji Temple in Toyama Prefecture and Urufushine Shrine in Nabari. Are you gonna kill the wolves? I'm not quite sure what that means. Mie Prefecture. May says Furumachi Etogo Shrine, a 300-year-old Shinto shrine in... And I'm saying this because in the actual prefecture in Japan, this is not a slur. Niigata Prefecture dedicated to the deity of fire prevention burned down. Isn't that fucking ironic? Isn't that ironic? A Shinto shrine dedicated to the deity of fire prevention burned down. You hate to say that. 10 days later, the 573-year-old Daihuchi Temple in Takaoka, Tebe Prefecture, founded in 1453, also went down in flames, with its ring wooden hall completely destroyed. This has been happening for a little bit. I've seen people complaining, oh, this is the immigrants. This is the immigrants. You know, Japan has been getting a lot of immigration recently, a lot of Muslims, and you know what they say. They don't like other religions, they're gonna keep attacking other religions. And I mean, sure, it's a possibility. I'm the first guy that wants to say, yes, this is clearly because of immigration. But it's actually really unclear. We don't actually really know if that's the case or not. It is true that these buildings are wooden and they are really old. So far as happening, it's actually not that strange, it's actually not that difficult. So I did a short investigation using Grok. And I think I got a pretty decent idea here of what's happening. So let's see if we can print this up without it being too poorly cropped. How's this looking? Okay, we can read everything. So I was like, okay, alright, this seems strange a little bit, right? How many fires and shrines and temples happened in Japan per year in the last decade? I didn't get the full information here, which actually kinda pisses me off. But that's the eye for you. It's not as exhaustive as I would like it to be. And the eye here and sourcing Japan's Foreign Disaster Management Agency, so it's actual official sourcing. So I think it's probably somewhat accurate, if not the most accurate. Mentions around 60 to 80 fires per year. Like, okay, alright. That seems like a lot, but it includes all reported incidents. From minor sparks or small fires, boya, they're quickly contained to more serious ones. Most are minor and cause limited damage. But as you can see here, in recent times, the amount of fires in shrines and temples have been going down, which I found that to be, at the very least, odd. Earlier years in the 2010s were often in the 80 to 110 range annually, but numbers have turned a little lower recently. I thought, okay, that's somewhat strange. And I also asked, how many fires in shrines and temples happened in Japan thus far in 2026? And mentions about 9 of them. Suga Shrine, Orenji and Hotoji Temples, Shorinji Temple, Rensoji Temple, Budofushine Shrine, Atago Shrine, Daihoji Temple, and the recent... No, this... May 20th, yeah, the recent in Reikado Hall. I was like, okay, but if we're going by averages, this seems... low incidency. They realized I made a mistake with my curious. Okay, I'm comparing significant incidents with all incidents per year. So I rang up a new query here. How many major fires in shrines and temples happened in Japan per year in the last decade? Which is actually the correct thing to ask. Mentions once again the usual small ones. It's Boya there? You wrote it properly here? Oh yeah, you did. I wasn't sure. Mentions the all fires. But if we go down to major fires, major typically means significant damage, full destruction of key structures, that's may halls, holding, or cultural assets. Excuse me. Or high-profile incidents. There's no single official yearly count for major only, but major source destructive ones are infrequent, between 0 to 5 plus. Having the plus there makes things a little bit murky. I guess we could say in average of 3 to 4, or a median of 3 to 4. Several cases per year in a typical decade, based on news and reports. Many fires are contained quickly or limited in scope due to modern prevention measures. Reasonable. Well, they also mention here, within construction, engine buildings, electrical issues, occasional ships or fires. I mean, be careful with those. Occasional arson are common causes. Cultural properties have extra protections, but risks remain high, which is normal. We understand this. This can happen because they're all buildings and they're wooden. They're in obvious fire hazard. But this is the kicker. The recent trend last decade, from 2016 to 2026. Overall fires have not shown a strong upward trend. Number fluctuates between 50 to 80. And here we have the second point. 2026 is seeing a notable cluster of high-profile incidents. They mention once again Reikado Hall, with the Eternal Flame, others like the one in Niigata, Fukuoka, Ehime. These are Japanese names, they are not slurs. With several full burns reported in the first half of the year, some sources mention 8 to 9 notable cases by mid-2026. And this is an uptick. This is an uptick. Even if we go with the... What is it? With the highest end here for major incidents of about 5 per year, 5 or even more than that, with 8/9, and it's still May. So this is clearly not normal. There's something strange going on. I understand when people are saying, well, you know, accidents happen, so on and so forth, but on the other hand, this doesn't seem to be a normal amount of fires anyway. So maybe the people that are complaining about or mentioning this is clearly arson by immigrants. We have to say, it's a real possibility. There are also some oddities about some of these events. I don't have any tweet for that, sadly. But apparently some of them were also near animal farms. Some of them being pig farms that apparently also burned down. Apparently it also happened with some chicken, some cow farms. But of course you have obvious motive here, right? If it's actually Muslim immigrants, well, they would attack other religions and they would attack pork. So that would make sense. I'm not saying it's a smoking gun, I know, funny wording, but I think I understand where people are coming from, and I would say it's probably likely. We will have also seen some of these immigrants desecrating different religious buildings and other religious paraphernalia in Japan too, like the Jesus statues, for example, which, I mean, if it's the kind of people that say, oh, they're praying to Satan in this building. Yeah, I mean, it feels really French when you think about it, right? Because this shit has been happening in France for many years. Even Notre Dame was not spared. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. And now we can only wait and see. And trying to check up with the police and see if it's actually arson or it was some sort of accident, which accidents are still likely. I'm not saying otherwise. But we have to be fair, okay? We have to be fair. But, them being aliens or not, that's an excuse. This next thing here. New! CIA and Pentagon officials describe 4 alien species they claim to have visited Earth. Reptilians, insectoids, Greys, and Nordics. Holy shit! Agartha stream. I need the Agartha stream at some point. It's becoming way too real. Soon it will happen. I will need to prepare a lot of sources for that. Maybe I should start working on it. And there's an actual article about it. I think it's just hilarious. This is from a week ago, give or take. 4 alien species pulled from crash UFOs, research claims. The US has recovered 4 distinct species of extraterrestrial life from crash UFOs, a former CIA-funded researcher has claimed. The US has recovered 4 distinct species of extraterrestrial... Okay, alright. More or less we're saying the same thing. Dr. Hal Puthoff, from Advanced Aerospace Weapons System Application Program, AWSAP, advisor and CIA-funded researcher, made a claim alongside Chief Disclosure Director Dan Farah on Steve Bartlett's The Theory of a CEO podcast on Thursday. People who have been involved in recoveries have said there are at least 4 types. 4 separate types, 89-year-old said. No, I hadn't had direct access to that, but I believe the people who had talked to 4 separate depths of life. I have the image here. It's a little bit small because it's the archive. The Stanford-trained Quentin physicist did not detail the supposed alien species, but his London collaborator and former AWSAP College, Dr. Eric Davis, claimed last year that Greys, Nordics, Insectoids, and Reptilians are the names of the biological life forms pulled from the wreckage of downed or crashed UFOs. Sadly, the category 1 was a hoax. Can I make this bigger? Can make this a little bit bigger. Okay. Insectoids, Greys. I guess Greys are also real still. Reptilians. And the Nordics. These guys are gigantic, dude. More than 7 feet. That's impressive. Also, the Greys are mallets. And I don't like the Insectoids. Reptilians we know. I mean, I just say Mark Zuckerberg. He could also be a Grey, tall Grey, perhaps. Each alien species has 2 arms and legs and a human appearance, that they claimed, said intelligence reports. Both the Reptilians and the Nordics are human-sized, roughly 6 feet, 8 meters tall. That doesn't seem like 6 feet, that seems much taller than those. But it could be not to scale, who knows. They said the UAP Disclosure Fund meeting in 2025, which was attended by Representative Nancy Mace, Representative Anna Paulina Luna, and Representative Eric Burleson. Notice a race of highly human-like creatures, who despite being from a far-flung planet, closely resemble people of Northern Europe here on planet Earth. Are white people alien? That'd be funny. That'd be fucking funny. How about we intermingle and find out, huh? They could be space Vikings when you think about it. That's funny. Those are scaly-skinned lizard-like creatures with human limbs, long tails, walk upright, as present in the field speculates. It's a small, massive-eyed, hairless creatures, classically depicted in films such as Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Ah yeah, that's a classic. Instead, are barlike humans, sometimes referred to as mantids because they resemble praying mantis. You probably just speculate. Yeah, these guys are probably evil. I don't like them. These guys, patriots. Can't have much images here. Former Air Force intelligence officer and UEP task force member David Crush testified under oath in Congress in 2023. The US was in possession of no human biologics recovered from dozens of crashed UFOs. Do you think they could use them for embarrassing stuff? That'd be funny to consider. The claims were based on testimony from members of the supposed crash retrieval program, which was detailed in Forrest's film Age of Disclosure, which premiered in March. I talked to the record with some people who are involved in recoveries, Farrell told Bartlett on Thursday podcast, adding, they would not go on camera to do interviews. I mean, you're probably gonna get killed anyway. So yeah. Oh, I thought I was going to do an interview, and then a couple of days before sent me a message saying, after further consideration, and long talks with my wife, I decided to forfeit my life if I participate in your interview. Farrell said. I have some comments here, but they are not saved, sadly. I don't know what I clicked. I don't know what I clicked. It is a bit of a shame. I would like to know more about this. I do love the talk about the Isle of Mouse. I think it's a really fun conversation. And I'm gonna be real. I do think they're real. I do think they're coming. And at this rate, I might even believe that Agartha is also real. I am inclined to believe so. Blame me if you must. I hope we get more information about this at some point. Yeah, let me reset the zoom. What else do we have here? Okay, we're gonna run to some random stuff right now, I guess. The Isle of Mouse, dude, the Isle of Mouse. It's also hilarious. How the notes here pretty much look the same as the guys from the Agartha memes. Are we sure they're just memes? Are we sure this is not our true people? Who knows? I mean, if you go deep into this shit about how do they call it? Different human races and what is the modern human made of? There are missing species. I do wonder if this has anything to do with that. Not saying it does, but some people would. That is kind of deep. That is far more removed from the normal stuff we do here, to be fair. What else do we have here? Where do we go? Okay, we have this here. I thought it was a bit strange. That's a video. I haven't watched the video. I don't think the audio is important, but we can check that. Jennifer Combs, a resident of Trinidad, Texas, was actively arrested and jailed simply for making a Facebook post exposing the city's brown, contaminated tap water. State officials panicked over the bad publicity hid behind the garbage law, and he asked the local police department to lock her up under the guise of preventing public alarm. So much for free speech once again, huh? It's internally real. This isn't law enforcement, it's tyrannical retaliation. Because when does a local bureaucrat get the right to suspend the First Amendment because their infrastructure is failing? If the citizens can openly criticize the basic hiding in plain sight truth of what's coming out of their own common faucets without getting a mugshot, the system is completely broken. She's officially suing the city for violating her civil rights. This is Texas or North Korea. Ha! This is the UK. So to tell you this, you had to know. Okay, let me stop this for a second, and we can check the video. Just 38 seconds.
The best way I could describe it is it looks like the Trinity River.
My left ear was loving this one. Fucking news, always with completely butchered audio. It's so annoying.
Is flowing from their water taps.
Do you ever expect something like that Facebook post could get you arrested?
I mean, you look at the water, that's just brown. It's not, oh, tiny deposit that could happen if you have some sort of accident. I mean, I've seen that before. No, it isn't. I'm also trying to pause a little bit because I know this is Fox. Another one then blasting my ass, which could happen.
Not at all. I did not, because I didn't say anything in it that
Holy brown, dude, that's horrible. That's almost mad. What the fuck?
could be used to cause a panic. It literally states in the post what I was gathering the information for, to be able to report it to the state.
Just gathering information. Maybe it's too spicy for some people nowadays.
I feel like this is an extreme stretch, and I just feel like
Look
it's
at
a way
that.
of silencing the citizens,
That
and
is so
I don't
trash.
feel like that's what they
That's
take it out
crazy.
for.
That's insane. That is insane. We have seen worse than this. Not in the US. Where's my music? There I go. We have seen worse than this, not in the US. That's crazy to me. That is way too much. It's also really worrying, the state of the water, what's going on there. I have no clue. But yeah, I don't think it's looking great. My goodness. Pretty awful. Pretty awful stuff. What do we have here? Let's see. Yeah, some more random stuff. We have... Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But the movies. So good. Quentin Bronson will star as Betty Boop in a new film. The film made in collaboration with the creator's grandson, will follow the origin and evolution of Betty Boop, the POV of her creator, Max Fullister. I actually don't know if that's the actress woman. It is the actress woman. It is the actress woman. Wow, they just look literally the same. Betty Boop is a white character inspired by a white woman. The only races to see here are people like you. In response to who knows what. Once again, everything has to represent current day. No, I'm sick of this. I was seeing a lot of people talking about the Odyssey thing. These people think the Odyssey is real, and some people were like, these fuckers think Greece is fake. Well, no, Greece is the country. It seems it's right there. It's probably the history-wise list. The first important country in Europe. Yeah, now you understand what they're attacking that one. So, yes, in a Greek story, you would see Greek characters. That's not an insane thing to do or say. But, hey, current sensibilities require current solutions, I suppose. And speaking of that, we also have this. This is not Perel. I skimmed a couple of words. Yeah, that is gonna be bad. From the BBC. What will make the UK a better place to live? A new project aims to find out. Yeah, I don't think no. And you can see native British people here, obviously. People across the UK are being urged to share their vision for how their community and country's future should look. It's part of a major new research project. I wonder if all ideas are actually allowed. The initial conversation is being launched with voice notes submitted by high-profile figures, including former footballer Hero Lanker, Chief Rabbi, Sir Ephraim Marius, and broadcaster Marilla Frostrup. I'm gonna go ballistic. Participants will be asked to complete the survey carried out by researchers from the University of Oxford and leave a 60-second voice note. Call them slurs, please. Do it. And models will then be used to analyze thousands of responses to map what could bring us together. The project will run until the end of August. The responses will be using a report due to be published later this year. I mean, it's not gonna be before that, clearly. It's been led by an independent commission on community and cohesion. Yeah, that's a fine name. Surely that's not propagandistic. Which describes itself as a non-partisan initiative responding to the converging crisis of social disconnection and division. Former Conservative Chancellor Sir Sajid Javid, a British name, clearly, who co-chairs the commission, said unless the country could regain a shared sense of what unites us, we're just being torn apart by your differences. That vision will come from politicians, can only come from the public. Then I had the proper ending answer. I'm sorry. Regaining a shared sense of what unites us, says Sajid Javid. Parody beyond recognition. This is not Clown World. This is Super Clan World Level 3. This is to go even further beyond. Former Labor Policy Coordinator Jim Crodas, who also co-chairs the commission, said the national conversation was at the heart of how we rebuilt the short vision for our country. Okay, what the fuck is Jim Crodas? The name is... can't tell. Okay, seems like a pasty white guy at least. People are being asked in their voice notes to include what they think unites us, divides us, what might bring us close together. Interrupt my notes for a second here, so get a mute. Please understand. Surely they can just be united, I bet. I mean, it's in the name, right? United Kingdom. The national conversation is supported by organizations including the NHS, TikTok, the UK Muslim Network, oh fucking course they do, the Church Urban Fund, and English Football League in the community. Everyone gets along. You will need to kick out so many people. That's not gonna happen, sadly. But they probably should. That looks like a British guy. Jack wants to see people learn to love each other. That's impossible. In Castle Jim, the center of Nottingham, young adults tell the BBC about what they want from the future. Jack Hanson, at least the name actually sounds British. In 20-year-old illustrations, he wants the UK to be a country where everyone gets along with each other. Are you fucking kidding me? When is this from? 6 days ago. Are you fucking kidding me, Jack? Oh, everybody should get along. But don't worry. The immigrants will keep stabbing white people. Why? Because they fucking can, of course. What else do they need? Yeah, fucking damn it. And it's not feasible because no one really gets on with each other all the time. But just one where we can learn to love each other and just get on. How can you love people that keep raping women, but also kids? How do you keep loving, or how do you try to love people that will stab you in the back just because you're just an 18-year-old kid that just drank a little bit and was in the wrong place at the wrong time? Can you really love them? No. If you had any love for your actual citizens, you would have to kick out all of these insane criminals. Because you still have some respect for their lives. It's not the easiest way to deal with them, but it's certainly the nicest. As a worker, Rhys Leaves, 28, was to be part of a country we're all proud to live in. He says the most important factors for him are opportunity and safety. Safety, LaMau, yeah. Good luck with that. What about you buy some heavy plates? That seems good. And it seems a common feeling that people want to move abroad. I mean, yeah, you would want to move abroad just to not get stabbed by an insane lunatic wielding a 21cm knife. Not a small knife. You would like people to be able to grow up, have opportunities within your own country. Yes, yes. I criticize even my own country, not because I hate it, but because I want to be better. But for it to be better, things have to change. But apparently you're not allowed to say what things have to change. Of course the government, because it's the root of the problem. And of course immigration, because of the consequence of the insane government you have. Still the same in the UK. Also, you can have better laws. Okay, you can have better laws. You can copy the first two amendments from the US. I think that's a positive. But people fear each other, and they may shoot each other. Killing people is illegal. Randomly killing people is bad, okay? That's not just something that should just happen. But in the UK, they will just stab you anyway. So why not try and protect yourself? Too revolutionary, I'm afraid. Daji? The guy? Like, why? I'm asking why this name. I'm gonna say Dagi, maybe. 21-year-old architecture student, originally from Poland, Why would you do that? Since social media has worsened divisions in society by making people lose empathy for others, now social media has made it easier for people to finally see what the fuck is happening in their own countries. Despite the censorship. Oh, hey, I didn't know there were so many stabbings in the UK. Hey, I didn't know there were so many child rapes in the UK either. But then again, if you're in the UK and you talk about the Pakistani rape gangs, you're gonna end up in jail. I know about Tommy Robinson. Says he wants people to put down their devices and to feel safe walking outside in the evening. Okay. Okay. My patience is running out. Woman, are you fucking retarded or what the fuck is wrong with you? Feel safe walking outside in the evening. No, you're gonna get killed. It's not because of the evil white people and Netflix wants to tell you. It's because of the immigrants. They come from different cultures. See, they're too stupid. They come from different cultures. They didn't understand what they do is wrong. So they had to be let free. If they don't understand what they do is wrong, and you let them free, what you're teaching them is that what they're doing is not wrong. So if it's not wrong, it's actually okay. So they will keep doing it. I'm sick of these people. Feel allowed to live in a country where you see people smiling, full of energy, healthy, and just off their phones. Hey, maybe you could go back to Poland. It's probably better than the UK. It's probably doing better. It's fucking hilarious. The 3 people we can see in the images, none of them British. Like, actual truly British, you know exactly what I mean. So we have some sort of Indian, we have some sort of African, and we have some sort of Polish. Cool. What about Rizzle is? I mean, it's just an individual, so I don't think we'll find anything here. Rizzle is. Yeah, send the military to the same article. Let's see here. Is it this guy? Kinda looks like a white guy. But the head is a little bit too squared. Maybe Slavic. I need to play more Ethnoguesser. I'm gonna be honest. Yes, I'm assuming it's the same guy. How curious! How curious. So I guess the UK is just supposed to be some sort of economic zone now? Cool. You know what they fucking did with the EU, right? It's the European Union. Wow, where's the Union? I don't see any unity, to be fair. Not even the digital kind. Of course. If you take away anything that then anybody has, you can completely destroy the cohesion in the country. There was also something similar to this. I didn't save it. I saw it earlier today. I was half asleep scrolling Twitter, that's why I didn't save it. Blame me because I deserve it. There were people saying similar shit about Norway. And for those who don't know, Norway does not belong to the European Union, but they're still giga-fucked, okay? Major contributor, government contribution to that's boring. So, yeah, it's kind of fact. I follow some people from Norway. The tax is insane, completely fucked beyond recognition. And the problems you see in the West in general, they're ever present in Norway too. And you had some sort of lunatic saying, oh yeah, but anybody can be Norwegian. As long as you come here and you like the country, it's fine, you can just be Norwegian. And people were like, yeah, no, fuck you, that's not how it works. And it's true, it's not how it works. Because I understand that ethnicity and citizenship status are different. But you're equating both in a really bad way. Because it's beneficial for your fucking ideology, I suppose. You see, anybody can be Norwegian. Yes, anybody can be potentially a Norwegian citizen, but they don't have the same mistake of the country, right? Let's say, for example, a guy called, what is a Norwegian name? Lars? That might be German. Bjorn? It's a guy I follow. Sure, let's say Bjorn. Coming from a a traditional family of Vikings from the 11th century, for example. I don't know, I'm making shit up. It's not the case, it's a fictional Bjorn. And compare that to a guy from... I don't fucking know. I'm not even gonna use insane minorities for the Middle East or Africa, okay? From Greece. A Greek guy. Let's call this guy Giannis. I think that's a Greek name. And he just got to Norway 2 years ago. Sure, the guy may have the citizenship. You think he has the same mistakes? No. He's missing the obvious legacy of the people that came literally before you and helped build the country, even if it was in a really small scale. Because most people in history were rather unremarkable, and that's fine. You still need remarkable people. I come from a family of farmers. Well, yeah, farming is a pretty basic activity, but you're generating food, which is a pretty useful resource, for example. But they're trying to completely erase the concept of ethnicity, legacy, culture, what the nation actually means, and that pisses me off. I'm not necessarily nationalist or anything like that. I'm just the kind of guy that says, I like this fucking country. Why? Because I'm a fucking idiot and I live here. And because my family has been living here for I don't know how many centuries or even millennia. It's not even hyperbolic. And you meant to tell me, for example, right? Another great example of this. Oh, look, the new Germans. No, they're not Germans, they're Somalians. Or Ethiopians that just got here. I mean, here, Europe in general. Yesterday or a year ago, and you just gave them papers, please. Same shit that's happening, for example, in Spain. They keep giving papers to millions upon millions of immigrants, and you have to constantly see the governments. Oh, governments from the UK, governments from Spain, governments from here, governments from there. All so annoying. But you see this nation, it's a migrant nation. The immigrants are so important for us. They help build the country. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? I don't think so. I don't think so. Even if we all agree that the immigration can have very positive impact within reason, are you gonna tell me that, for example, right? Because in the UK, we could use the example of, well, you see the colonies. And in Pakistan were colonies and all that, so to some extent they extracted resources from them, so there's some sort of relationship there. Whatever. Are you gonna tell me, let's be real, are you gonna tell me that Spain, for example, is what it is thanks to, I don't know, infinite Muslims? I don't think so. And you could say, oh, but what about the Muslim conquest of the peninsula? Well, sure, whatever. I don't think there was ever any meaningful contribution to the Iberian Peninsula by Indians and Pakistanis. Then again, you need to allow all of them in your country. What about Germany? And keep saying Somalis and Ethiopians. I'm not even sure if that's the correct ethnicity for those. Minnesotans in general. Yeah, I don't think Germany was great thanks to that. But you're not allowed to say that, because you cannot make differences between different groups of people, which is truly insane. I'm sorry, people are different. And yes, some people are better than others. And that's not me throwing a line in the sand saying the difference is because of race. No, absolutely not. It is disgusting when I had to go to the inner parts of the city and I kept listening to insane languages and I don't understand anything of what people are saying. And this is not just because, people from the Middle East, people from sub-Saharan Africa or whatever. No. I even see a bunch of people from other countries of Europe. Like, you know what? Even these people are pissing me off. Sure, they're Europeans. Get them out. Get them fucking out. Too much fucking immigration. Every single week I have to rant about this. Every single fucking week. I sound like a broken record. Call me broken, but never call me wrong. It's so fucking enough. It did you hell. Yeah, it sounds like a British name. It sounds like a British name. Ah, shit, he looks like he's about to redeem. I'm gonna redeem! Unredeemable. Unredeemable. And it pisses me off because I see common people also falling for those obvious lies. Ah, yeah, there's no actual national identity. Are you sure about that? Especially when you talk about European countries. Are you sure about that? I bet you most European countries have rich histories that span more than 2,000 years. And you're gonna tell me you don't care about that? Disgusting. Truly disgusting. And let's finish for today with something kind of fun here, so we can decompress a little bit. This got really serious really fast. Let's talk about cats. We like cats. Cats are nice. They can be assholes, but it's fine. The channel has free accommodation if you look after other cats and cuddle them. Oh boy, this is gonna be interesting. Speaking of free, it's not pre-read. A Greek island has been going viral as you can live there for free, just so long as you look after the cats for one of the sanctuaries there. There are plenty of places across the world that offer different incentives, not initiatives. Also true, I suppose. For you to move there, or even start a family. Japan is paying single people to use dating apps, for example, while PUBG's developers craft in Korea have paid employees 100 million won, which is about not quite 67,000 USD to have children, which is a nice estimate, I will give you that. That will help a lot. And I mean, Korean birth rates are also completely fucked, so thumbs up on that one. If that's not your speed, however, and you would rather spend time caring for a child, I know they mean cats, but I wouldn't want my kids to be furries. Truly degenerate. Then Cyrus and Chris may be the answer for you. The Greek islands home to multiple cat sanctuaries for the island's strays, and they regularly need volunteers to go and look after them. So the cat sanctuary will give you free accommodation. If you do decide to volunteer, you will be asked to work from 8 AM to 1 PM for 5 days a week. That is not a huge amount. I mean, that is 5 hours a week. It's not insane. It's tasks ranging from feeding the cats, cleaning their beds, and even getting gallant with them. I'm assuming this is gonna be probably the lowest priority. Feeding and cleaning is probably paramount, which I mean makes sense. Volunteers are required to be there for at least a month, but in return you will receive free accommodation, breakfast, and utilities on the Cyclic island. Did I say that correctly? Cyclic? I guess. Probably Greek, so it's probably different, but I tried. Otherwise, you're expected to pay your own way there and get your own food away from breakfast. I mean, as long as you have some sort of another part-time job, it's probably fine, right? Or some sort of freelance gig, be the best, so you can just arrange the time for that as you see fit. However, spaces on servers are limited. Makes sense. It's already all booked out for the 2026 season. You had to wait until September to try to sign up to be part of the 2027 team. Okay, we can take the video after we finish reading. Want to shed the world that animals count? Richard Bowell, co-founder of God's Little People Cat Rescue, told Quick Reporter. When we treat them, we find something for our own humanity. Serves in the first Greek island to offer free housing and other benefits to visitors. Antikytheria, that's a name. It has 24 residents as long offers incentives to families to move there, including a free home and cash every month. And not enough for the Somalians. The only catch is that you also have to work a manual job and have 3 children to take with you. They want to reopen the island school. Ah, makes sense. I mean, I'm gonna say that probably the 3 children part is the difficult one here. Manual job? I mean, it depends what it is, right? I don't know if they have anything imposed up on them. But I mean, those things are really important, no matter what. So let us check the video here for a second.
Honestly, I think it might be the best job in the world. The place is called Syros Cats on the stunning Greek island of Syros, and it's home to over 60 beautiful cats who just need a little extra TLC. But that's where you come in.
There's some
The
nice.
incredible team there are looking for a couple extra pair of hands to help out with feeding, cleaning, and loving the cats. And in exchange, you'll get totally free food and accommodation. Applications for 2026 are open right now, but you're going to have to be quick because they'll fill up fast.
That's cool. That's cool. I mean, you also probably need to know Rick, I'm assuming. I don't think it's the easiest language ever, but on the same hand, many Western languages are also derived to some extent from Greek, so maybe it's actually not that bad. They do use something that's not from a letter, so yeah, there could be some issues here and there. That's nice. That's nice. You can go take care of the cats. That's cool. Here's this. There we go. Now you're loading. That was weird. Anyway, we didn't really go heavily over time today. Just a little bit. Which is nice. So plan for next week. It's gonna be the same as this one. More Zone Quest on Monday. Probably gonna be finishing the game. Did some grinding. Lisa's looking really powerful. She has immense stats. Really surprising. In a positive way, for sure. She's going for the Tron class right now. Terror is really fast, and she's getting her strength, but her resilience is actually pretty poor, pretty limited. Not ideal. Not ideal, but it's okay. I think I'm gonna change the part of the match. I think I will swap melee for Ashlyn right now. I think she's doing better. She also mastered the Luminary, so that's good. I need to do some gamba for more casino tokens, so we can buy a bunch of equipment next time. But it's looking like finale, which is cool. More miniscap on Wednesday. I will need to go out of my way a little bit to get more green kingstones. It's not gonna take too much, thankfully. In theory, if you just dig around the farm, they should have a good chance of getting a bunch of them, so that's cool. We'll probably be doing the graveyard and the next dungeon. If we have spare time, we'll try to collect items and use more kingstones. And more Boost Fury on Thursday. We'll get into maybe the spacecraft. I might level up Gohan a little bit, because I know we'll need to use the guy. So since it's pretty low level at this point, I can get a couple of levels. Get more or less to the same level as Goku and Vegeta. And I think we only get to use Gohan pretty much at the end, just before fighting Dota. So getting the levels now is gonna help with fighting the enemies later. Which is great. Overall, it's just great. And we're gonna have more yapping on Saturday. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I guess I'm gonna need to start collecting stuff for the eventual Agartha stream at some point. I mean, I know I said I want to make some streams about conspiracy theories, and I don't know if that counts as conspiracy theory, but there's a lot of people talking about it. There's a lot of memes about that. So I think that could be fun to just tinker with. I don't know if I can actually cover 3 hours with just that. So we'll see if I find related information or I don't know. We'll see. It's too soon. I have not prepared anything for that really. So it's gonna be some work for me to do. Anyway, it's time for me to take my leave. So thank you for coming. Hope you had some fun. We're coming back on Monday with Dragon Quest 6. Very clearly, it's gonna be finale, I believe. We just need to go to the Pegasus Tower, get into Makai, and complete Makai. There's a couple of towns, but it's probably just gonna be finale. 4 hours for that. I think it's likely. And until then, you know the rules. Despite what you might say in these insane news articles, never falter, never surrender. Because we're gonna make it. And why are we gonna make it? Because I believe in you, cowboy. And take care.